USA, Iran, Israel. What happened? On November 27, 2020, the head of Iran's nuclear program, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, was murdered. He was in the car with his wife, and they were ambushed by a group of assassins with guns, bombs, and a remote-controlled weapon. We don't yet know who's behind the assassination, but Iran has their suspicions. Iran's foreign minister, Mohammad Javad Zarif, said there are, quote, serious indications of Israel's role. And Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, stated that Iran's first priority after the murder was the definitive punishment of the perpetrators and those who ordered it. Israel's president, Benjamin Netanyahu, or anyone in the Israeli government have not made an official statement. So how does this involve the U.S.? Back in 2015, the U.S., under President Trump, signed the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as JCPOA, or the Iran nuclear deal. The agreement placed limits on the production of nuclear arms, and specifically placed a limit on how much uranium Iran can have and put security to watch their facilities and prevent any weapons from being created. At this time, out of most of these countries, Iran was one of the only ones to not have nuclear weapons of their own. 3 years later, in 2018, Trump left JCPOA. This is what started the back and forth between the US and Iran. In the same year, Iran claimed they won't be limited by the agreement and began increasing their uranium supplies. They did, however, state that they will maintain safeguard obligations agreed upon in the deal. And to tie this story together, we have to know that the US and Israel are allies. Back to today, as a result of the assassination of Fakhrizadeh, Iran put a target on Israel and may be planning to use nuclear weapons against them. They have access to these weapons as a result of abandoning the nuclear arms deal. If Iran attacks Israel, the US and Israel will retaliate. As I'm sure you can begin to see, this is opening the possibility for a worldwide nuclear war. And this requires our attention. Here's what some Iranian citizens have said about the first nuclear deal.
As an Iranian, I always want friendly relations with the world.
It's what everyone wants, to reach an agreement that benefits Iran.
Why wouldn't I want a deal? I want them to reach a deal so people can live in peace.
If there's an agreement, everything will be easier. The sanctions will be lifted, the economy will improve, and so will relations with the world.
I want us to have peace and better lives as long as we don't give up our rights.
Although many things have changed since then, the Iranian people's desire for peace and stability has not, and a nuclear war will impact them more than it will their leaders, the same way a nuke to the US would impact us more than our politicians. This topic in particular matters to me because I'm connected to all parties involved. I'm a first-generation Jewish Iranian American. I grew up learning American and Iranian cultures simultaneously while learning to read Hebrew and all about my religion. I lived in Israel for a month going into my senior year of high school, where I learned firsthand what the culture is like there and what a beautiful place it is. This situation puts all three of these places in jeopardy, and finding a way to establish peace is necessary. President-elect Joe Biden, amongst other Democrats, have stated that they are open to a new arms deal to maintain peace and prevent a war. However, conservatives such as Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell believe that a new arms deal will pose a threat to our national security. Should we negotiate another nuclear arms deal with Iran? Thank you.